Hello, welcome to Yarn Lane. It's so lovely to have your company. My name's Vicky. We've got so much to do in the next hour. Those of you that have been with us all day on Sewing Street, welcome back. Don't forget that you can log into your account with the same details as Sewing Street, and you can carry on using the same postage and packaging, so it's 1p&p across the whole day. And that's whether it be on Sewing Street website, anything you purchase from today's Yarn Lane show, or anything on the Yarn Lane website, anything at all. It's all one postage and packaging. Now, so a couple of things that I need to tell you. We had in the Woolshed back in January, and this is just the second show. Virtually everything was selling out the first time around, so back by popular demand. We've got some kits that we're going to revisit from that show, but we've also got lots of brand new kits as well. Everything is on the website. Now go to www.yarnlane.com, click watch live and scroll down. You will see every kit already there on pre-order. We'll try and get through them as quickly as we can, and we've got loads that we want to talk through today. The cardigans come in small, medium and large. You can see there the Sloppy Joe jumper I absolutely adore. Look at this. Oh my word. These are going to fly out. They are going to fly out. So all of your kits are there. We also have the sock kits back in stock. Adele, if you're still in the green room and watching, grab those now. She wants to make her socks. Any bits and bobs that we'll talk through as well of needles. These are all knitting projects today. So we're going to do something slightly different today. So before we go through the kits, we want to talk to Emma, if that's okay, because it's such an exciting company. And we're actually from the same town, aren't we?
We are indeed, yeah. We've just found that out.
It's lovely to have you back with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So tell us, for anybody who missed your first show, a bit about yourself and how you started in the Woolshed.
Okay, so my passion is natural dyeing, and I bought some natural dyes here, which I will talk through to you. I've never used chemicals in my life, I wouldn't know how to. And all of it really started from the fact that I enjoy hand spinning and creating my own yarns. So I then went on to naturally dye them, and after doing a fine art degree, and I came out of that, and I sort of said, oh, what shall I do now? I sort of turned around to my sister and said, oh, I'd love a woolshed.
Yeah.
And she sort of said, well, what are you going to do in your woolshed? Well, I don't know what I'm going to do in my woolshed. And off we went, and she said, well, they're on the farm in Kenilworth, and they've got a container. So we opened up the container, it was full of junk, emptied that, and opened it up for Warwickshire Open Studios.
Oh, gosh.
And we never closed it, and that was back in, I think, 2012, I think. And
amazing.
it's just grown very organically. You know, I haven't had any money to throw at it, it's just crept forward. Originally, I was selling my handspun yarns that were all naturally dyed. That was bonkers, because if you understand, you know, it takes over a week to actually produce a, you know, that's a week's worth of work,
Right,
really.
okay. So what is the process? How is it that you sort of start thinking about dyeing your own yarn? Or
Well, it was using natural dyes. I can't really remember, because I was doing it when I was a teenager, messing around with onion skins and this, that and the other. It's just grown from there. And what I love about it is the fact that the shades don't, they're not like a chemical dye. It's like a flat, straight colour.
Yeah.
And that's why they turn to chemical dyes, to get that evenness of colour.
Oh, I love the fact that you've got multi-tones.
Yes, that you've got lots of depth of colour within that. So that's why I probably gravitated towards them. And also the fact that being completely natural, even my mordant, which I will go into, is a natural substance. It is all just completely sustainable. I can put it all on the compost heap afterwards. It doesn't do any harm, and in fact all my yarns are completely 100% wool, so you can actually put it on your compost heap at the end.
I love that. We're all thinking a bit more about the environment and sustainability, aren't we? So that's fantastic. So we will go through what the kits that we've got, because we've put together some amazing kits for you. Which one is it that we want to start with? Sorry, Kat. The Sloppy Joe.
The Sloppy Joe, yeah.
Now, this is the first time that you bought the Sloppy Joe to Yarn Lane, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is a revision of, so the Sloppy Joe original came out a couple of years ago, and it was knitted in a Wensleydale, and the sleeves were, because then it was quite fashionable to have very narrow sleeves. And it's been so popular, but I decided I wanted to re-knit it up with much wider sleeves. So this has come out now. So the original was in Wensleydale. This is in Blueface Leicester. I've got it in the 2 colourways, and I suppose the one that I started off with, which was the Indigo, and that one, that comes sort of inspiring of being on the beach and having that just something to sling on at the end of the day when the sun goes down and you're feeling cool. They are just big, comfortable, sloppy things.
And I absolutely love them. So the first colourway that we have is the Slow Gin.
It's Slow Gin, yeah.
Which is the colourway that you can see on the mannequin here. So you have 8 of your damson colour, which is absolutely beautiful. And you say, so every single one of these will take about a week in the process of dyeing?
Yes, yeah. So
that's so amazing.
From the start, from soaking and mordanting and through, so yeah, and balling and labelling and everything else, you're talking about a week's work, yeah.
Oh, I love it. So you get 8 of those, plus you also get 4 of your natural grey, and the colours that are coming through in there are beautiful as well, aren't they?
Yeah, so that's actually natural, completely natural.
Okay.
So there's no dye process gone into that. That is straight off the sheep colour.
Yeah,
Oh, blended, yeah.
And it's a blue-faced Leicester sheep, isn't it?
Blue-faced Leicester, yeah.
I know they're known for their sort of strength, aren't they?
Yes.
And how soft they are.
Soft. So I think blue-faced Leicester, I said this on the last show, gives merino a good run for its money because it's so soft, so soft. So on our farm in Kenilworth, we have Clins, and they're a typical British crispy yarn, which probably used mainly for the carpet industry. So the good outer garment, but you put it next to your skin and you've got that itching going on. Blue-faced Leicester, you can put it next to your skin. It is just so soft and beautiful.
It is really soft.
Yeah.
It's all 100% British wool, as you said, from the farm in Kenilworth. All hand dyed using natural dyes as well, which is just brilliant. £104.99. So in the kit, not only do you get all of your yarn, you will also have your pattern.
Yeah.
That's included too. So is it different sizes? Is this one size? Is this?
So it is actually, it's an oversized jumper. So whenever I design anything, I work it out on me, and I sort of fluctuate between a 10 and 12 kind of scenario. So I have put the larger sizes in there if you wanted to make it any bigger. But because it is such a big oversized sweater, it works all round. So there's room for manoeuvre if you wanted it to narrow it down. It is an incredibly simple knit. It is a really straight up and out. So beginners can do this. You know, it is, if you've got the time and the patience to do it, you can have a go at this. It is really simple.
And I must say, at the moment, it's such a therapeutic thing to do, isn't it?
It is. And it's, for those that are, you know, have got a bit more experience knitting, it's definitely sitting in front of the TV or whatever you watch and just knit away. I mean, that's how I spend my evenings.
Oh, and I love it.
Yeah.
And what was that, sorry, Kat? Oh, so, right, in fact, actually, because I've just started knitting and I'm using, Rebecca Rees put me on circular needles. Do you think circular needles are probably going to be best for this?
So this is knitted in the round. So you definitely need, the sleeves are not knitted in the round, but the actual body is. So you knit it in the round up until this point here.
Okay.
And then you knit up the one front, the front, and you knit up the back, sew the shoulders together. You then knit the collar in the round as well. And then these sleeves are actually, you could knit them in the round if you've got the right size length round bit, the wire bit, but otherwise they can knit it on the flat, those ones. Yeah, brilliant. But you can use your circular needles to knit on the flat.
Okay.
So that before you start using, so it gets a bit, you kind of think.
Why am I using circular needles when I'm making a blanket that doesn't go
so
round?
I'm using, I mean, I've always got some knitting on the go here, and this is, so I'm using my circular needles to knit on the flat.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and it means that you can do larger projects, basically, doesn't it? You can cast on loads and loads of stitches.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do have a second colourway in the Sloppy Joe as well, which is called Summer. I've got here, you've got all of these beautiful indigo colours and your natural. So you have 8 of your blue, and then 4 of your cream, which are absolutely gorgeous. The tones in the blue, I'm really excited for you to get this home, and especially for you to be able to hold it because it is super, 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 super soft. So the jumper that this makes up is that one behind me. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can imagine, like you said, on a walking along the beach or just going for a walk, having a barbecue and putting your jumper on at the end of the night when it's just starts to drop in temperature. It is just one of those comfy go-to. It's going to fit everybody. It's going to suit everybody. So how can I still wash these?
Oh yes, you can, absolutely. To get these colours, I literally boil and bake it to get there. Because it goes into a mordant pot first, which it's boiled.
Okay.
And then it goes into my dye vat, which comes up really high temperatures. So the only thing is, when you're working with any wool, it's just not to agitate it too much.
Okay.
It's just to keep it under the water and swill it round. But here's a tip. If you're wearing natural wool, it doesn't need washing.
Oh, really?
It doesn't need washing. It's a natural fibre that you very rarely need to wash.
Yeah.
Obviously, unless you throw your dinner down yourself, but otherwise,
Yeah.
We're washing our clothing a lot, and there's a lot of fibres that are going out into the environment. We don't need to do that with wool.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a good tip as well, isn't it? Yeah. So they're the two Sloppy Joe. The Slow Gin, just so you know, at the moment is the most popular. They're absolutely beautiful. The double knit blue face Leicester, all from, of course, from all British wool as well. So are we going to do a bit of a demo with this, if that's okay, or what is it that you want to do?
I can talk about the dyes that I've used for the Slow Gin, which is the logwood.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the logwood, I've actually, to get that deep colour, now let me compare it. Oh, compare it to the colour that I'm wearing. It's very similar, but this is a slightly brighter colour. And this all comes from logwood, which is a tropical tree. And it's a bark, it's a wood, and we soak it and then get the liquid off it, which has got the colour in.
So is this all just trial and error over years of trying different things?
This one here, which is madder, which is ancient as the hills, that's 5,000 BC.
Gosh,
5,000 BC they were using that. And you get, with the madder, I brought this in to show you, with the madder you get these really beautiful, that's a Cotswold.
Corally oranges.
Yes, absolutely gorgeous out of that one. And there's another one there that.
Is it difficult to get consistency in colour, because all of yours are so beautifully sort of matching?
It is, and having to get all these kits ready for Yarn Lane has actually opened my eyes up to mass production.
Yeah.
It's not mass production on a industrial level, but for me it's been that. And no, I can't get the colour, because to get this logwood, it goes into my mordant bath, which is alum. And actually, Rebecca asked me what alum was the last time I was on, and I had to put my hands up in the air and said, I don't really know. Anyway, I have my son who loves sciences. We looked it all up, and it's actually a salt or a mineral, and it's an incrustation on a rock.
Wow.
So they're not going out there scraping this off rocks. They are actually producing it probably in a lab, as Harry said. Yeah. But it is a completely natural process. So first of all, I will create a vat. So it goes into water for a day. Bring it up to the boil and then leave it soaking overnight. So that's one bath that it has to go into. And then it goes into the dye bath. And then for logwood, it does need, so this is a mordant, which is a fixing agent, okay? So this helps fix the colour to the fibre.
Right.
But logwood, the other ones will work in the same way, but logwood needs an extra fixative, because otherwise it will run away. So it then goes into an iron bath, which I've got some old
bits
this
is
of
such a process, isn't it?
iron there. And it will go into an iron bath. So all those processes, I can put the same yarn into the same vats as it goes along, and it will still come out slightly different shades.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that though.
And it's my vats, you're thinking, how big is so my biggest vat is about that big.
Yeah. How much can you do at one go?
So I can do 6 in my Indigo vat, which is my biggest vat, and I can put 6 hanks at a time in. So with these, I'm putting, actually my logwood vat's quite big as well, so I'm up to 6 with that. But other ones, you're looking at 3, 4 hanks of wool at a
I
time.
tell you what, this is probably why, like you say, there's a lot of different quicker routes of doing it, but you can tell it's your passion. This is a labour of love, isn't it, to go through
It's
it?
totally mad, and you know, it is completely bonkers to think that you can do this, but it is a joy. I mean,
Yeah.
I go into my shed and the day disappears, and I don't stop. I'm going from here to there. I've got,
Brilliant.
you know, I've got the radio on and I'm just buzzing around, and it is just such joy. And then when it comes out and you've got all these hanks of wool hanging down and the colours, absolutely lovely.
Oh, I'm so pleased that we've managed to get Emma on the show, because obviously you rely a lot on going and doing big craft fairs, going and doing exhibitions.
Yeah.
So this has been brilliant to be able to get all of your yarn out there. This is what Yarn Lay's all about, by the way. I know Rebecca Reed has been really specific in hand picking lots of smaller, independent, local companies as well, who are amazing at what they do. So the Sloppy Joe kits, just so you know, very, very popular. The most popular is the Slow Gin, which is the purples. It's your main graphics. Just so you know, Barbara asked for the size of the pattern. So we said at the start that it's quite a sort of, it's an oversized jumper anyway, so if you want to take it in, absolutely you could, but the design, it's one of those that I think is going to sort of one fits all.
Well, I think so. I absolutely do. I mean, I think I should have the measurements on there. I'm just going to check out. So the width of that on those ones is 69 centimetres width. So that's a good size width, it is. The small is 65 and it goes up to 73 for the large on that one.
Fantastic. So you've got all three sizes, small, medium and large.
Yeah.
And suitable for beginners. Like you said, it isn't going to be something that's a really quick project, but if you've got the time, which we all have at the moment, and the patience, what an amazing achievement to finish such a beautiful, beautiful jumper like this. Okay, so that's the Sloppy Joe. Now, right, how do I pronounce this cardigan?
It's the Sauvage.
The Sauvage.
Yes.
I don't know why, even though you've just said it, I still can't do it. The Sauvage. I'm just going to say that, which is a beautiful, it says here, elegant and stylish layer. So it's hard between like a gilet and a cardigan, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's got that lovely, well, for me, I love anything that's comfortable. I live in comfy clothing. I wear a lot of kind of oversized things, and this just is the perfect layer that goes over them. And because it's pure wool, it's really warm as well. It can be worn in the summer because it's short-sleeved. It is just really gorgeous. And the big plus to this, for all those knitters who don't like sewing up at the end, it's knitted in one piece.
Oh, brilliant.
So
there you go.
No sewing up at the end, and it's got a nice at the back.
Oh, I like the shape at the back.
Yeah, it's got a lovely shape at the back.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
really nice.
Yeah.
So in the kits, you're wearing the crocus colourway, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Which again is our logwood, which we're going back to the same, which is that lovely dye there.
Okay. Oh, I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? So the large, which is the one the graphics are for at the moment, you've got 7 of your, are these 50 gram hanks?
They're all 50 grams.
And can I just start knitting off these, or do I need to do the whole?
No. And in fact, because of the way they are balled up as cakes, you just pull out the middle.
Oh, brilliant.
And then your ball doesn't run away with you either. So
Amazing.
It just sits there. So
That's your baffles me of trying to, you know, obviously with some of your hanks that you're going to need to
which we've got for the sock yarn is in
which
that.
we'll talk about in a bit, so then we can demystify that. So this comes with all of your yarn, your 50 gram hanks, 7 of your 50 gram hanks, and your pattern at $71.99. That's the large size. If you want the small to medium, same again, this time with 5 of those hanks. And that's $62.99. Same colour, the crocus colour, which is beautiful. Again, it's blue face Leicester.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes. And so this is Aran weight. So our Sloppy Joe was a DK weight, and this is Aran weight.
Right.
Yeah.
So DK, does that stand for double knit?
Yes.
That's right. So that's the DK weights for this. The Aran weight, is this a lighter weight?
No,
then?
it's a fatter yarn.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Heavier yarn.
Oh, they're absolutely beautifully soft again, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you get all 5 of them, plus you're also getting, and it is that crocus, that absolute beautiful imperial sort of deep purple. It's gorgeous. and you're getting your pattern. So that's the small to medium. Small to medium in crocus. We've also got the natural colourway.
Yeah.
Which is again, comes with all 7 hanks for the large, plus your pattern. All 7 of the gorgeous colours. And this is again the same colour, is it the same colour?
No, it's different. So the one that comes with the Sloppy Joe Slow Gin is actually pure Blue Face Leicester. And if you notice, it's slightly browner grey.
I'll show you.
Oh,
yes, it is. So this one has, this is what the colour that the sheep is.
Yes, yes.
But
So this one is a blend of Blue Face Leicester and Masham, which is another sheep. And that's where the grey comes from. So they will blend the cream with the colour off that sheep and they'll come up with that lovely grey.
And is that the one that's behind you?
Yes, it is, that one there. Yeah.
Oh, see, that is a lovely neutral natural colour, isn't it? In fact, that's going to go with everything,
It is. In fact, I was there with my son this morning trying them all on, saying, which one shall I wear? You know? And I'm actually knitting up, because I just love them and I know I'll get so much use out. I'm knitting it up in the other colourway, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, yeah, I just thought, I'm going to get so much wear out of all of these.
Absolutely.
Not that I'm allowed to wear them, because they are for the business.
They are gorgeous though, aren't they? All the colours are perfect. So we also have it in small to medium, which this time you get 5. So you get 5 of your hanks for $62.99.
Yes, so 6. Sorry, 6. You should get 6.
Oh,
so
you should
get
6.
7 for the big one.
7 for the big one and 6
for the
small to medium.
Small,
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you for correcting that. Plus you're getting your pattern for $62.99. As Emma was saying, the third colourway is gorgeous. This is my cup of tea. I love ochre and it's so in at the moment, isn't it? This colour is lovely. How'd you get this colour then?
So, believe it or not, this is what I really like. I'm going to take the lid off here. It's a bit powdery. If we can, yeah, that's right. If I got the thing there. And it smells, I wish I could bring it over to you because it really smells really beautifully.
What does it smell of?
It's quite sweet actually, but it's rhubarb root.
Oh.
So, and that's the powdered form of it, which I've got all over my hands now.
So this is called rhubarb, isn't it?
Rhubarb root.
But we're thinking,
yes.
It doesn't look like rhubarb colour, but it's the rhubarb
it's
root.
The root. Now, the rhubarb plant, I think, is absolutely amazing because the root obviously gives this beautiful colour, which you can add, you can change that colour as well by putting it into different vats. But also the leaf, which is poisonous because it's got oxalic acid in.
Right.
Now, oxalic acid is actually a mordant, so it's the same does the same job as alum.
Okay.
So if you fancy doing a bit of natural dyeing at home, get some onion leaves, brown onion leaves, not the red ones, brown ones. Get your rhubarb leaves, which are a throwaway product, and they're starting to grow. I was noticing in my pot at home that they're starting to sprout right now. And put them in a pot together. And you've got a fixative as well as a dye.
Oh, brilliant.
So, I mean, I don't use it commercially because obviously I've got to be really careful that these colours are fixed. They're not going to fade on us. They are fixed. So I don't use it because I can't quantify how much oxalic acid is in a leaf because it would depend on the soil content and all the rest of it.
Oh gosh, yeah, very scientific.
So I don't use that. I use my alum, which I can measure that out accurately. But if you want to do some dyeing at home, and whenever I do any workshops or anything like that, we do have a little go at using the
so when we
leaf.
can, we'll have to talk about you doing workshops as well when we're able to do workshops again.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
So in this one, you get 7 in the large and 6 in the small.
Yes.
Fabulous. If you wanted to get the large, but I want to make it long, because yours is quite long, isn't it?
Yes, so that one's come out. And again, it just depends on your knitting, your tension and everything.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Just so you know, the crocus, which is the purple in large, there's only one left and there's way more of you that have got it in your basket, so just be aware. Of course, In the Woolshed was very, very popular back in January and they are extremely popular again. I've got one other colourway to show you.
So we've got the indigo. Have you got the indigo there? Not sure you have you?
Oh, it's these. Yes, I have.
You
It's
have.
behind here.
Okay.
Sorry. So this one you have again. Oh, this is lovely for summer again, isn't it?
So it's on the mannequin behind you on that one with the...
That one's here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this down so you can see the colours, because that is so beautiful. You can see those different tones coming through as well.
I was so tempted to wear that one. I was kind of like, it was between this one and that one. It's because the indigo is just that all-round colour, isn't it? That is just
Absolutely. With your
fantastic.
jeans, it's really gorgeous. So
Yeah.
you've got, again, 7 for the large, and you'll get 6 for the small. The graphics are going through for both at the moment, plus you get your pattern. Is this more, would you say that it is a slightly more difficult knit compared to the Sloppy Joe? But more
I think it
experience?
is. It's not necessarily the actual knitting that is difficult. The difficult part is actually putting it together. So at the back, because it's all knitted in one, in fact, if you have a look at the pattern, I've actually created the pattern. So if you find it really tricky because you're going to have to pick up stitches basically from what's already knitted.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, and I've actually on the pattern put some...
You've done some photographs.
Some photographs to try and explain which edge you pick up and how it all comes together. If you get into a real pickle and your head starts to go, oh, I can't do this, I really understand that, then I have actually put a second option on that where you knit the back up and then stitch it together at the end. And
brilliant.
I'm going to show you how to do a edge-to-edge seam. I'm going to demonstrate that in a little bit for you.
Jot down today's date then, so you've got a few options then. I've had a question come in from Christine. Hi, Christine. Does the dye come out when wearing? Will it transfer if I'm wearing white underneath or white jeans?
I mean, obviously, you know, I've been wearing this in the car and you know, nothing's come out. Indigo might be a slightly different issue. So indigo is a different way of working.
Now this indigo, is this different to the Sloppy Joe indigo?
No, it's all the same vat.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's just slightly different shades of it. So let me see if I've got, that is an indigo cake there. It's quite intense and it is a very different process to the other dyes. I'm not going to go into it because it's quite complicated. Okay. But what's really, when you're dyeing it took me ages to get into indigo dyeing because you have to be exact. With the other dyes, I can actually throw things in and a bit of this and a bit of that and it's okay. Yeah. With indigo dyeing, you've got to be precise. Your temperature's got to be precise. Your pH has got to be precise. It's a real art of working with indigo. The more you work with it, the more you understand it and all the rest of it. But when I put the fibres into my indigo vat, it won't dye them blue.
Right.
It's only when it comes out green, and then it oxidises, it turns blue.
Oh my word, this is so amazing.
It is a really wonderful way of working.
Oh, there's so much science. You say your son, he's into all the science.
I'm not. I'm too fluffy head and arty for getting my head around the science.
But you can tell that your art also, you've been doing this for a long time, haven't you? So you can tell. But
it is that wonder. I mean, people out there who are watching this who've worked with indigo or understand it will be going, because it is just so beautiful to work with. To get the deeper shades, you don't leave it in the vat longer. You have to keep redipping and redipping and redipping. So to get to sort of that shade, I mean, I sell it as like a 3-dip indigo, but it's probably more like 6 or 7 dips to get to that colour.
So if you are, you know, a bit conscious about it, the colours running slightly, you'd probably suggest going with a different.
So back to the original question, I do apologise, so when you buy a new pair of jeans, which is chemical indigo, this is natural indigo, you get blue.
Yeah, you do.
You know, if you're wearing white knickers, you get blue knickers at the end of the day, don't you? But it doesn't stain it because you put your knickers in the wash and they come out white again. And it's the same with indigo. And you get people sort of saying, well, can I fix it? This has already been fixed. So it goes in a vinegar bath at the end, which neutralises the alkali because it has to be a very severe alkali bath, so it neutralises it. But there will always be some rub off on it. There will always be. When you're knitting, your hands will go blue. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't, but it probably will. But it just doesn't stain, and it is lovely. And the more you wear it, like your jeans, it settles down, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We also had a question from Sandy. Hi, Sandy. I've just ordered mine. Brilliant. What size knitting pins should I use? Fab show, she said. Thank you.
So
Which kit is it that you've bought, Sandy? Which one? Is it the Sloppy Joe or the cardigan? Which knitting needles do you use for your Sloppy Joe then?
So the Sloppy Joe, we have got needles 6mm. You need round ones. So I put it on here. Let's see, materials 6mm circular, 80cm needles. That's the length of the wire.
Okay.
And 4mm circular needles, because when I've gone into the neck, and
I love these the roll.
To shape the sleeve, I haven't done any decreasing. I've just changed the needle size so that it's brought it in slightly narrower there, and it's made it narrow at the top. So that one is your 4mm, and I think actually I'm sure for the Sauvage it's pretty similar. Yeah, it's 6mm circular 1 metre and 4mm circular. Again, for the rolled top, I've gone down a needle size just to give it a bit more structure on the top.
I do love that rolled top.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And then so you've got the knitting needles we just spoke about for the 6mm circular 1 metre. That's for the Sauvage. The Sauvage. I'm not gonna get better. I'm not gonna get any better with that. So you said that you wanted to show a little bit of the construction of the cardi.
So one of the things, where's my little basket? That was right in front of me here. So what I hear a lot from knitters is, I hate the sewing up bit. And there's a lot of knitters out there who've got a very guilty secret of a pile of knitted stuff that's not sewn up, because they move away from that. I actually love that part of it. I love the whole process of knitting, I suppose, because I do love the finished item, but it's the process that I love. Yeah. It's kind of a really mindful thing to do, isn't it? Yeah. So it's what I thought I would show you today is how to do. I'll just move some stuff out of the way so we're not cluttered. Get rid of that colour there.
It's lovely to be surrounded. I love seeing all of the. It's brilliant. I'm so pleased that you've brought it all in to physically show us.
Yeah. It is hard to get your head around natural dyeing as to what it does. Yeah. So I've got two little swatches up that I knitted up last night, and I'm going to show you the edge to edge, because on this design you don't want, I'm going to take it off and actually show you, you don't want a heavy seam at the back there.
Right.
Can we see that?
Yeah, we can.
You want a nice flat seam. So when you're picking it up as you're knitting along, you end up with a lovely kind of design, I suppose, that as it creates the
It is a lovely sort of like plait, isn't it? A lovely detail.
But if you decide not to pick up as you're knitting along and you just want to knit up the back and then sew the sleeves to it, you obviously aren't going to get that design, but you want to have a nice flat join together. You don't want a bulky seam on it. So I'm going to pop that back on again.
What needles do you use to sew up with knitting?
I've just got a ton of these tapestry needles.
Yeah, right,
I think they're wool needles. I mean, I've always called them tapestry needles. We used to do a lot of tapestry when we were little. So I'm going to show you. So imagine I've decided to show you two different sides. Am I right under the camera there? I want to get in the way.
Perfect. If you just come slightly to your right.
Slightly to my right, which is that way.
Perfect. Thank you.
So when joining up, I don't know if you've noticed, and this might be a reason why a lot of people get frustrated with sewing up, is you start sewing up and you get to the other end, and I find it even with sleeves that you've obviously knitted flat, so both sides should be exactly the same length, and you get to the other end and blow me down, it doesn't fit. It's one's longer than the other for some unknown reason, and I'm not quite sure why. I think because it's quite easy to stretch knitting, isn't it? So one of my key points to it is before you do knit them together, and when you're doing a seam to seam, what you want to do is actually have your wrong sides in the middle, which is unlike how you would do a normal seam. You'd always have your right sides together. Right. And then you've got the seam inwards, but you need to have your wrong sides together.
Ah, okay.
And then what you need to do is we need to pin it at the start. I've got two pins going on there. And we need to pin it at the other end. So when you're doing the sleeve, the way I would do that on, I mean, I know we were talking about the Sauvage, but it applies for the same thing. So I would pin here and I would pin there. Okay. And then you can work in the middle. I would put some pins in the middle, but just sort of ease them together. Like I'm always moving out the wrong way, aren't I?
No, you're not. You're fab.
There we go. So I'd put a couple of pins in there.
The natural that's behind Emma, by the way, is the one in the Sauvage.
You're doing really well.
Thank you. There's only one left. There is only one left. If you've got it in your basket, check out now. That is about to sell out.
So what you want to do is we want to pick up the seam as we go along. So I'm literally pick up the seam as you go along. I'm not sure that's the right words to say, but if I demo it, you'll understand what I'm doing. So can we see the seams there? So I'm going to pick up and do a sort of zigzag as we go along.
If you go slightly more to your right, then we can come closer. That's it. If we then, we'll just see if we can get right in really close to you.
Does that?
Yeah, we can see.
Yep.
That's perfect. Thank you.
So I'm sort of doing a ladder effect as I go along. That's all it is. It's very simple. Now
Why is it that you think people are put off by doing this then?
I don't know. I think it's a sort of a psychological, you know, just it's a change, isn't it? You've got to get out of your knitting into your sewing head space.
That's true.
So I think it could be that. I don't know. Maybe because it's towards the end and it's sort of you want to go on to another thing.
Yeah.
Because all good knitters have more than
one project on the go.
One project. So let me then just open that up for you so you can see. Got another one in there? No. Yes, I have. There's someone there. Where are you? There.
Oh yeah, don't lose your pins in there.
So you can see that is, if I stretch it, you can see it, but it actually sits.
Yeah, within it. Yeah,
flat.
Completely. Yeah, very neat indeed. That's a lovely, neat way of finishing. So
yeah, it's not super strong, but it is. I do it with all my garments, so it does work. Yeah.
Amazing. And you say that you've put a couple of different ways anyway of doing it.
Yeah, so you can, you can have a go at knitting it all together, or if it's sort of you throw it in the air and go, you can just do it straightforward then and sew it up afterwards.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on to the sock kits, because they were so popular the first time round. It was back on, what date was it, Kat? The 11th of January.
Yes.
11th of January was the first time that Emma was here. If you watch back on the YouTube Yarn Lane YouTube channel, then you'll be able to watch the show back. Now, socks are a brilliant, I think these are absolutely brilliant. The kits that Emma's put together for us are gorgeous. So we'll start with the Indigo. Are these something that are particularly difficult to do?
I think you've got to have experience at knitting to start socks. And I think that, but once you've got into them and you've got through that first pair, they are so addictive.
I love them. Again, they're so soft, aren't they?
They're really soft. And the other thing is they're small projects. So I've always got a pair of socks with me.
On the go.
On the go.
Yeah.
So it's, it's just really lovely project. And it's very, very addictive, really addictive.
Tell me about this yarn then. So this wool, again, it feels so soft, but you've got this variegated colour. How on earth have you done that?
So that, again, is blue face letter, but that's a 4-ply. So we've got the whole entourage there, haven't we? We've got 4-ply Aran and DK. So the way that I've created that is literally, I've tie-dyed it. So I've taken my hank and I've put a knot in it and put it in my indigo vat. So it is quite random. You will get, as it's knitted up, you'll see the two socks of a pair are quite random.
Yeah. But I love that. You're not changing colour in the socks. It's just using the same one, which is brilliant. Yeah. $22.99. So do you know what size these finish up at? Is it these for men, for ladies?
So on the sock pattern that I've given you will tell you how to increase and decrease. So again, I've knit those for my size. They're size 6, but you can knit up. With sock knitting, it's always increased by 4 stitches to go up a size. So increase by 4 stitches each time.
Oh, brilliant.
And so you can go any size. Now, in that hank of yarn, there's 110 grams, so you can get a massive pair of socks out of it.
Brilliant.
My son has big feet, he's got size 10 whatever, and he gets a good pair of socks out of them as
So
well.
working from a hank like this,
Yes.
how do I need to wind it into a ball ready to go?
So yes, you do need to have, you can get a good friend who is willing to stand there and hold it round.
Yeah.
I've actually got, obviously in my business, I've got a swivel, which is a thing that you put it on and it rotates round, and a wool winder.
I think we had those on the show last week. I wasn't here, but I heard about it. So have a look on the website, because I think that we do actually stock those now. Is it
Yeah, because Rebecca said you didn't have them before, but she might have got.
We've had those since then.
So they are really, if you're doing a lot of knitting and you're buying a lot of hanks, which a lot of the indie dyers sell their yarn in hanks, because obviously, you know, it keeps the price down of the wool, if I'm honest, because it takes another process out.
Yeah.
So it is worth investing in one of those, because they take a lot of pain out of the whole thing. And then obviously a wool winder, you can get hand wool winders or electric ones, or you can actually just do it by hand. And again, sometimes you will find me, even though I've got all of the gubbins, I'll be sitting there in bed with my knees up, and I've actually got the hank round my knees, and I'm just mindlessly watching.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
One of the key things with those hanks of yarn, they have actually all been re-hanked. So I've gone through and re-hanked them all. But if you open them up and it starts to get in a pickle, the key to it is don't try and sort it out. Keep it. Don't try and unthread it, wind it through. Just keep it as it is, and it will just sort itself out. You've got to trust in it a little bit, because once you start feeding it through and round and out, the whole hank then is a pickle, and which you don't want. But they should come off quite nicely.
I just love. It's completely natural. It's super soft. British wool, absolutely beautiful quality. So that one is your indigo. We also have a couple of other colours. These are lovely. This colour is ocean.
Right, I'm glad
this is my favourite.
It is. It's a big sound. I'm going to have a quick. We've got time to talk about green.
Yes, please.
Okay. So in my. Oh, I've lost my little ball of wool. No, it's here. It's here. It's here. So and my hank. That's it. So I've got a hank here.
Yeah.
So in natural dyeing, you would assume green would be easy to get to because of all the green that's out there, all the vegetation that we have, and actually it is not
really.
So there's some lichens up in Scotland and places like that you can get greens from, but predominantly green comes from dyeing your yarn first in a yellow and then into an indigo vat, which is blue, which creates your green. So that's how I've managed to produce these. And as you can see, it's incredibly variegated because it's been through the 2 processes.
Yeah, the colour tones
so I've got
beautiful.
2 different yellows. So as you can see in my hand here, I've got what I call the ocean green, which is the sock yarn there.
Yeah.
And I can also dye what I call a grass green out there. So the grass green comes from a dye called weld, which actually is a weed in this country. Grows on the side of the road or willy-nilly. And then you've got fustic, which is another sort of tropical wood, and you get, so the yellow from the fustic, because the word fustic is like, if something's fusty, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's slightly more, it's a duller yellow. You can get a nice bright yellow from your weld to produce the 2 greens.
I bet the possibilities are kind of endless, aren't they? Once you
are.
start learning about it, I bet
Yes.
you could just dive so deep into finding lots of different ways of dyeing.
There is a lot of dyes that people, it's become really popular in the sort of the world of environmental awareness. There are a lot of dyes out there, however, that people are picking off the hedgerow and all the rest of it, and they're fugitive. So they will fade very, very quickly. So my palette is actually very narrow. I only have a handful of dyes, but they're not fugitive.
Right.
They will.
So they'll last.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. Absolutely. Especially, I mean, when you're spending the time making such beautiful handmade socks and jumpers, and these are lovely, especially with all of the walks that were going on at the moment. It's nice to have a nice pair of wool socks. And like you said, actually, for someone who you don't, because socks, obviously, you've got them on your feet if you're going walking or you've just got them around the house. But you're saying because they are 100% wool, you find you don't need to wash them as much.
No, don't. No, absolutely.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So you've got your instructions as well. And then we've got one final colour, which is your gorgeous purple, this crocus colour again. It's called Deep Plum, this one. So is this the same? No,
yeah, it's the same dye.
It's the same dye. But this is the 4-ply, isn't it?
Yes,
in all of these,
4-ply.
compared to the Aran weight and the different ones we were looking at earlier. I think again, it does make it look a slightly different colour, doesn't it? Having the different
it does
weights.
pick it up very differently. Yeah, absolutely.
£22.99, and that's to make sock, whatever size you want to make. It will explain in your instructions how to make a large pair of socks or a smaller pair of socks. They were extremely popular the first time they were on. This is now, I think, one of your last chances to grab those whilst you can. We'll, fingers crossed, be able to get more kits if we can, but take advantage of those 3 colourways because they are beautiful and were really popular. Now, we've got literally about 5 minutes or so to talk through the shawl because this is another one that I've got it on my lap. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, it's multicoloured, this is. This is so beautiful, Emma. I love it.
It's like butter, isn't it?
Yes. Almost looks like a skyline. It's so gorgeous and so silky soft.
Yeah.
So what yarn are we using for these?
So this is alpaca and silk and Falkland wool in there. So it's a mix of 3. So it's a luxury yarn. It is absolutely
How do you
divine.
source these?
So it's all British spun. So it all
Oh,
comes from up north, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
from
are
the mills.
so gorgeous. And look at the colours.
So these are, since lockdown, since the COVID, I think they might be having trouble getting silk in, I don't know. I haven't been able to get hold of this fibre anymore. So I think there's literally 9 of these kits left and that's it.
That's it.
That's
8
it.
now, Bum.
Yeah.
8 now. One's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is it. You don't know when
No.
you'll be able to order any more.
Yeah. So it's the Jemima wrap and it's a very simple knit. It is your traditional triangular shawl. It is small, so it just sits beautifully over your shoulders, you know, in the summer around a barbecue you just want something on, or in the evenings at home in the winter you just want something around your shoulders. It is real luxury, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's so, I can't explain to you just how soft this is as well.
It is beautiful, yeah, real
Absolutely
luxury.
gorgeous.
And we've got in there in the dyes, we've got the indigo in 3, sort of a darker. Now because of the silk and because of the alpaca, you don't get the depth of colour in the yarn because the dyes will
They're
be
more
picked up.
pastel-y, aren't they? Which I love, actually.
Yeah, so you've got that. You've got the fustic green one, we've got the pale indigo, and we've got 3 logwoods going into a grey shade there as well.
Oh, they are beautiful and they blend together so well. The palette of colours works really, really well. Plus, remember, you have all of your instructions included as well. These will all be sent straight to you directly from In the Wool Shed. Those of you that were watching the show earlier on today on Sewing Street, we were talking about we were having slight delays with our warehouse, but these are all coming from you, aren't they?
Yes, they are, yeah.
Brilliant. So you will not have that delay, don't worry. If you are ordering anything today, then they'll come directly from Emma. Is this another one that you say is actually quite a simple knit?
It is a really simple knit. It is really, really lovely.
The edge detail's lovely, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is just, and I mean, that is just being able to wrap a yarn around your needle. So it's nothing fancy. It looks fancy, but it's actually very, very simple.
Oh, I love that. That's all we care about. As long as it looks fancy.
Yeah.
We want ones that are really simple but actually look fancy. Absolutely. Ones that I can do myself. I absolutely love them. And everybody's, because obviously they've all got all this beautiful mix of colours, everyone's will come out slightly differently.
Yeah, of course they will. And, you know, I've given instructions for how I've done it as blended, but you can make it up as you go along. You don't have to stick to the rules. And that's what's really gorgeous about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just so you know, a lot of these have just gone into baskets. Be aware with what Emma have just said, this is the last of her stock. We cannot replace these. We don't know when or if we'll be able to get these back in. We've had a request from Linda for you. saying, can we have some yellow? She says it's really hard to find natural yellows. These are quite yellow, you know, the goldens.
Yes,
aren't
and
they?
I can make that a lighter yellow as well. And again, I've got my yellows up here. The reason it doesn't happen, yellow is a funny colour because it doesn't actually sell brilliantly well for me. So it's the last to go off the shelf. But I think in recent times it's becoming more popular, isn't it?
Yeah,
So it is something to think about.
Absolutely. This ochre is a really lovely colour.
Yeah.
It's called the rhubarb.
Yeah, and I do actually dye it up to a paler shade of that as well, which is a yellow. But talking to Rebecca, we sort of erred towards more the ochre rather than the yellow side. So interesting. But yeah, I'm glad she's raised that question about yellow because it is one of those, like, on the sewing just before this, you had the pack in the yellow, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was lovely.
Absolutely.
Really nice. I love it, especially with the year that we've had. I think we're all just thinking, do you know what? I want to wear some bright springy colours.
I think you're right. I think we are kind of going towards that, aren't we? It'd be really interesting to see how fashion develops in the next year or two with this sort of, yay. Please.
Absolutely. Also, very, very quickly, we had a question come in earlier about the chest size of the cardigan. It says a size 16 inch. Where is the chest measurement, please?
So my measurements come in width. So the total width is the small 38 and the medium 40 and the large 42. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, brilliant. That's for Edwina. It is a lovely relaxed fit as well.
Yeah.
It's a you know, a nice cardigan. It doesn't have buttons to do up or anything, so it's a nice relaxed fit. Yeah, I don't think you need to worry too much about having something that's going to fit completely to the body, if you know what I mean. There's small, medium and large sizes on there available. Thank you ever so much. It's been so good. It's gone so quick again, hasn't it?
I know, it's like a whirlwind. Yeah.
I might see you around the town.
Yes, that would be great.
When are you back with us?
I haven't got a fixed date at the moment, and I've got some repairs going on they're taking the roof off my dye studio. I'm like, oh no, please. So I'm not sure at the moment. So hopefully in the summer. Yeah,
brilliant.
Early summer.
Make the most of all of Emma's kits that are on the website then. Thank you ever so much. Thank you. Lots are selling out. Lots and lots are selling out. So spend the next few minutes having a good look through the website and seeing what is available. Is the yarn lane tomorrow? Monday is your next dose of Yarn Lane, so do make sure you join us with lovely Rebecca Reid. And she's got a launch of lamps, did you say? Of colour lamps coming up. So that's on Monday's show. I will see you on Tuesday.